Now type something.
Well, I have to see it first.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. Now it works. I'm pretty sure.
Live now.
Okay. Now it should work.
Hello. Let's see if the...
Almost. I almost got it. Bonsoir et bienvenue à le weekly stream. Avec moi et toi. Okay, so is there a way we can pull it up and see if it's actually working?
Chat's not working.
Again?
Yeah.
How is it not working?
Just not showing up.
I can't do it. Forget it. Just this time the chat will not work. We'll have to keep that here so we can read the comments. That's ridiculous. I don't understand why this stuff keeps happening. Ugh. It's just frustrating because I don't know what we're doing incorrect.
I don't think we're doing anything incorrect. I think all of these platforms suck. I think if you're not famous, they don't really care or take care of you.
Well, it's not even just working the same way, though. Is it even live? Or there it is. Okay, kind of. Okay, then we're just gonna have to put the chat here or something. That's ridiculous. Okay, so, let's see. Duncan says, Salut, Kai Flex. Salut,
Hello.
comment ça va? Okay, so we're live. Thank you guys. Sorry the chat isn't working for some reason. But what can be done? We've already spent literally 20 minutes trying to figure this out. I had to go up, delete the events, recreate the events.
So I think the events is what's throwing this whole thing off.
I just don't know how to do it.
Maybe don't do an event next time.
I have to do an event.
Why?
Because otherwise you have to type it on there. You have to fill out all the stuff on the phone. It's very difficult. So I think I got it though. I just don't know why the event isn't working the same way. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and Duncan, tu es français? Pourquoi je parle un peu de français? And I'll practice with you. All right, let's go ahead and start with our list.
Let's do it.
Hi guys, welcome to our weekly recap. We were on board for tonight and then things happened. So,
Brother,
also,
no.
the dress looks saggy in the photo.
No. Not at
Anyways,
all.
continue.
Brother and friend meet internet friends.
Yeah, I put this on there because I wanted to talk about the fact that my brother and now your brother has met our internet friends. And some of our internet friends are watching right now. But
Some of them. The rest of them are
my
not.
brother, also my future sister-in-law, and my friend from work have all met some of my internet friends. And we've played tabletop together. And I think that's really fun because I'm now branching this line between family and my online family, which is a cool blend.
Yeah.
Because that's never happened before in all the years I've known my online friends. So they've finally gotten to interface with my brother.
Well, in the world of COVID, I think this is the new normal anyway.
Exactly.
It's probably better that you don't see people in person and that you have just online friendships, even with your family.
Right. So that's neat.
It is neat.
Although I did think it's funny that my brother got a very warm, welcoming reception, and your brother didn't get the same reception.
She thinks it's funny. I just think it's typical.
No, I think it's funny, but I stood up for him.
I appreciate that. So does
I
my
said,
little brother.
He didn't get the welcome reception he's worthy of.
It's if you think about it, it's like Kite Tails. Anyone related to Kite Tails. Flex.
We're at the
Anyone related to Flex.
We're at the Queen's table.
Yes, I'm at the peasant's trough.
Yes, that's
That's where I like to hang. Stick my head into the trough.
That's
Get some trough liquids in there.
John Hunter says, when are you going to introduce your internet friends to your parents?
Never. You don't want to meet them.
Who?
My parents? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day. We'll see.
You want to hear a whole bunch of wrong ideologies and things that will upset you?
Let's not even get into it, honestly. We've already had enough frustration for today. So I just thought that was funny.
Next topic. Hold on.
But that kind of goes into a topic I wanted to talk about. Women versus men being judged.
Well, that's the next topic on the list.
I put that on there because last week I said something that I wasn't aware was a slur of some sort. Not a slur, it was slang. It was slang in certain communities, drag communities, that I wasn't aware was a slang. And I said it because it was a drag performer's name. And then Power Piglet afterward said he was surprised I would use a swear word because my online persona doesn't swear. And then I had to point out I don't have an online persona. The only persona I do have is a work persona because I'm paid at work to be very, very nice and yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, it's different when you're paid to put on a facade. But this isn't my job, so I can act however I want. But here's the thing.
Tell me.
Another person who watched our stream last week said you looked very cool and collected and comfortable, but said I looked incredibly awkward and that I was very uncomfortable.
What?
And asked if I was okay because they were genuinely concerned about me.
Wait, were they actually complimenting me, or were they saying cool, calm, collected because I'm like a kidnapper?
That's what they said about you. They're like, he seemed so normal and fine, and you seemed really uncomfortable and awkward.
What the heck?
And so I've never seen this person before, so I just said, can you explain what you mean by that? Because I'm honestly curious. And they said they thought I had to go to the restroom the entire time. And first of all, I would never, ever, you never want to hold your bladder because that causes stones. And I'm serious.
Let's get into the real first of all. I've never told you, if I have, you wouldn't listen. I've never told you to do anything in your life.
No.
One of us does wear the pants.
They weren't implying that. They were just implying I was an awkward, weird person.
No, I thought you were saying they were implying I
No, they were implying that you were the cool one, and I was really, and I looked really uncomfortable and awkward.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yes, this is
an elaborate troll.
No.
This has to be an elaborate troll.
He's probably going to come on this video too.
This is probably Frank Chungus finally found our channel.
No.
And he's like, yeah, this is how I'm going to get her.
No, they said, I seemed really uncomfortable the entire time. And so I said, what did you mean by that? And they explained. And I just thought, this is such a thing where, constantly, all throughout you and I having an online presence, people would be very, very... They hold me to a much, much, much higher standard. Not just me, but women in general are held to a much higher standard. We can't say things, or we can't do things, or if we are, then we're just acting. And I just find that utterly ridiculous. That I'm not even allowed to be expressive without it being judged as awkward or weird.
Yeah.
Which I just think is a bunch of baloney.
That is baloney. I would agree. To quote Bianca Del Rio, which I'm sure is slang for something.
Baloney! Yeah, so... Who knows? I just think it's hilarious that constantly, or if I do something incorrect, oh, that's the guy, not Green. He's the one who said I was uncomfortable. You're here. I'm trying to explain how you said that I looked awkward and uncomfortable the entire stream.
He says he didn't mean it.
Yeah, no, this is the guy. Don't try and backtrack now because I'm using you as an example. But this is something that women get held to this standard forever. Like, even you and I online.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely true.
Yes. If I do something wrong, then that's it. That's it. Which I think is ridiculous.
If I do something wrong, no one cares.
But here's... Yeah, they don't care. So I think that's funny. I think it's super unfair.
I would agree. It is
unfair.
Yeah.
And it's not just online. Women, outside of online get judged much more harshly than men do. So why is that?
I don't know. I get judged very harshly at my job.
No, you're very well loved at your job.
You think that? I was literally told I was mean yesterday. My boss had to tell me that I come off as mean and resistant.
That's not a bad thing, though, because you don't want to be stepped on. Here's another thing, too.
Apparently it is a bad thing, because no one wants to work with me.
A lot of people who are nice, and we are nice people. A lot of people who are nice are seen as, or expected to be, pushovers. That you can say whatever you want to them and they're not going to fight back.
Yeah.
And then when you do, in any way, stand up for yourself, you're mean. They have no idea what mean is. We've seen mean before. We've seen mean, psychotic people. Someone standing up for themselves is not mean. This isn't aimed at any of you. I'm just saying past experiences.
What aggravates me is people associate meanness with being right. So if you're in a group and someone says something like, the sky, it's made out of primarily methane gas. And I'm like, actually, that's not true. It's not made of methane gas. It's nitrogen, oxygen. There's some ozone in there. But not methane. And methane is farts. Like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. No.
But if
and then you show
it,
them. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly when you prove them wrong with data, you're mean.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That makes me want to bang my face into things.
When you prove someone wrong.
And it's
that's terrible.
But when you have to do this for a job, like, what do you do? Because when you work with people who are wrong a lot,
I don't know.
And you're constantly having to tell them, no, you're wrong.
I don't know how you deal with that.
I don't either. Maybe someone out there knows.
There's just no way. How do you deal with people who are stubborn? I want to read this comment.
Please read it. I'll get the next thing on the list.
I can't pronounce the name because it's a lot of symbols, but...
Is it Elon Musk's child?
Oh, Top Captain House Pet Disney Anime Fanboy says, "Hi Kai, I love your Disney princess videos, especially your old versus new Beauty and the Beast. I agree, Emma Watson is so annoying. I bet she didn't even see the 1990s Beauty and the Beast. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that comment." So yeah, I just had to read that. Anyways, let's move on with the list. Also, not Green, because you are here in the chat and he's the one. I don't have anything against you. I just thought I would bring that up because I've never been told I look... Well, someone has once thought you were holding me captive while we were playing Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they wanted to save me. That's why they were asking, is he forcing you to play that scary game? Would you like me to save you? That's the only time everyone's...
A big, strong man save you.
So that's that.
Tell me about this fox in Berlin.
Oh, so there's this news story about this fox in Berlin who they found there was a case of missing shoes. Hundreds of shoes were going missing in this neighborhood. They had no idea what was going on. So finally they found out a fox was taking the shoes.
Wow.
It loved to take Crocs and flip-flops. And someone in the comments said because something probably traumatic happened to her litter and she's trying to get shoes to fill in that void. Aww. That makes me want to cry.
That's sad.
But I just put it on the list. That's really sad.
That's really sad?
Yeah.
Man, we gotta move on from that one.
That's sad.
Sick of the repulsion to eating bugs.
Yeah, we are sick of the repulsion to eating bugs.
Yeah, we are.
We were on the bug train very early. We said when bugs as a form of eating is something that is accepted mostly all around the world except the West, because the West is, for whatever reason, very indoctrinated to think bugs are gross. And so you'll hear a lot of comments. We were watching a baking show and one of the contestants wanted to use cricket powder. We've had cricket powder before. It's the most innocuous
It tastes like flour.
thing. It just tastes like flour.
It's just flour.
We've had cricket protein bars before. And so someone on the show said, ew, bugs are gross. I can't believe I'm eating bugs. Acted that this repulsion to eating bugs upsets me so much because you have no idea. Where is this repulsion for the meat industry, which is terrible? It's awful. It's disgusting. It is so cruel and torturous to animals, and that in itself, if you are not disgusted by that, but you're disgusted by eating bugs, then I don't know what's wrong with you. You have completely failed as a human being in that point. If you were sick at the sight of bugs, but you are completely fine engaging in the meat industry, in the dairy industry, then
the thing I don't
can't
get
deal
about
with someone like that.
Bug repulsion is when you think about a cricket. Mm-hmm. It's a carapace shell. It's hard. It's not like it has fur. The typical meaty muscle, fat, organs, all that stuff. Like, it's just a crunchy, very I don't know the word for it, but it's exoskeleton, right? It seems so much cleaner to me.
Yes.
Like a cricket versus a cow.
Right.
Because you think about how many diseases mammals get and how susceptible all these different working parts are, but then you look at a bug and it's just kind of like this organic robot.
Right.
That it seems so much less harmless. They eat primarily leaves and other bugs. Mm-hmm. Very few of them actually have like diets that contain things that would be toxic to humans.
Right, and you can more so control what it eats, and going to be much less resource intensive.
I know they feed crickets cardboard. That's like their primary. When you do a bug farm or a cricket farm and you're looking to harvest their protein, they'll give them cardboard, and then if they want to flavor them, they'll throw in like peppers and eat the peppers, and they'll taste like pepper. Or they'll throw in lime, they'll taste like lime.
Yeah,
but it just seems so innocuous.
It does
compared to meat.
And I'm completely sick and tired of it. The people who are very against it, you are so missing the bigger picture that I implore you to look at it in a different way, in the way that we look at it. You have this repulsion against bugs, but you have no repulsion against the meat industry and the dairy industry, and that doesn't make sense to me. So just try and change your worldview.
I want to read what Duncan, I apologize to lean into this, what Duncan, I don't know, said. He says, people are often okay with shrimp. That is the true, mind blow. Is why is shrimp, lobster, crawfish, crustaceans?
Because the way that or oysters, the way that we've thought.
It's the same, it's almost the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't understand either.
I don't get it.
It's just completely,
I'd rather eat a reptile
it just doesn't make sense at this point.
A mammal.
Right.
At this point. And if I had to choose between a cow or an alligator, I'd eat the alligator.
Yeah.
You know? And then it would be a bug over those.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
We don't know. I also have to say, not green. And I apologize. I wish we had the chat up here because it's so much easier. We have to constantly look here. I'm missing a lot of it. But not green says, I apologize if what I said disturbed you. It didn't disturb me.
We just thought it was interesting.
I just thought it was interesting. I swear to you right now, no hard feelings between us. I just thought it was really funny because it's in line with this judgment against women versus men.
Right.
You know, it has nothing to do with you. We're friends. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. Trust me. For me to not like you, it's going to be very difficult. You have to be actually aggressive and just really nasty for me not to like you. But I have never, ever turned down an apology. In fact, there's people who I've stopped talking with over the time and we'll just talk again. I don't hold any grudges against anyone. There's some crazy people like blank, 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 who was very obsessive about me and said I was a raving environmentalist lunatic. You don't remember him.
I know exactly
Okay, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
If he were to come here and he were to say, hey, I'm sorry, things left on a bad note, can we be friends? I'd say, yeah, we be friends. I'm going to make fun of you, but we can be friends. So, yeah, no hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
Anyways.
Speaking of hard feelings, tell me about this Blizzard wage disparity and corruption.
Yeah, let's talk about, what's his name for a second?
Bobby Kotick.
Bobby Kotick. I wish we could show a photo of Bobby Kotick.
It'd just be way too much.
I want to show a photo of Bobby Kotick just without any context and say, do you think this man has any idea which direction Stormwind is in? No, absolutely not.
It took me a second to register what you just said.
I'm going to say, Bobby Kotick, what server do you play on? He'll have no idea.
No, he will not have any idea.
So here's something that just came out. Blizzard, which is owned by Activision.
Yes. Which has investment from Tencent. We'll get there.
Well, that's on the list.
We'll get there.
But Blizzard's CEO, up at the top, makes $40 million a year while his employees are in the cafeteria drinking coffee to satiate their hunger because they can't afford to buy food out of the cafeteria.
It's bad.
This is absolutely unreal.
It's really bad.
I tagged Blizzard on Twitter and I said, you ought to be ashamed of yourself and you need new leadership. You should not have employees who feel like they cannot afford to eat in your own cafeteria while your CEO makes $40 million a year. $40 million a year, what is he doing with this? And then they brought in as chief financial officer. They wooed him with $20 million stocks options to join.
I'm not surprised.
I don't understand how did this happen to a company? I feel like companies from now on are going to have to, in the ground rules and the operating agreement, they're going to have stipulations that prevent this from happening. We cannot have a CEO making more than blank, blank, blank a year. That money will be redistributed to all of your programmers, the people that actually make your company work.
There's a formula.
Absolutely just insane.
We've talked about this before. There is a formula, and I don't remember what it was. I think I heard about it on Radio Lab. But basically, if your CEO makes more than 10 times your lowest paid employee, you're going to have morale issues. It's just a fact. They found that CEOs that make less, I want to say it's 10, but it might be less than 10. That
makes sense.
But it's like if you make less than 10 times your lowest salaried worker, there's going to be, the companies are much happier.
Yeah.
Just all bottom to top. It's development.
It's absolutely
people who
unreal.
program have no idea how little they make compared to their managers.
No.
Product program managers, marketing, sales around them. Like it's actually really sad because I was in programming and you don't realize how critical you are to the organization, but how little you are valued. Yeah. Like it's really weird, and it's even worse in gaming.
How many people are sort of chomping at the bit for those positions because they think working for that company means something better. Yes. That's very sad. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Duncan says Bobby looks well fed.
Yeah, he eats. He eats very well.
Bobby looks well fed. Rita says expose him, Kite. Duffman says Bobby Kotick has been a cartoon villain since 2008. Andre said, Kite wants to 1v1 Bobby in the arena. Ooh. Duffman, he legit doesn't care about video games. Pyle says, Bobby Kotick, you have too many minerals. If this stream goes down...
We know why.
We know why.
I don't think YouTube, Google has any relationship with Activision Blizzard.
They wouldn't ever be able to find us.
No.
They ever wouldn't be able to find us. So that's ridiculous. I just could not believe... I could not believe that... But here's the thing, it's not going to change. Even with exposure, it's not going to change unless something big happens.
Oh, I totally agree.
Bobby Kotick has to get...
I mean, how many times has Blizzard been in the negative public eye in the last 2 years?
That's true, and it's not done anything, though.
The China scandal and the Hong Kong with Blitzchung, and then just like the bad release of Warcraft Remastered and their inability to go off and fix it. Like, I understand... why people would stay at that company. I mean, it pays their bills, it's a job, they probably have a deep, fond love for that place. Right. But Blizzard is in an area where you have lots of other options to go to if you wanted to bounce to a different location. I don't know why anyone would stay there.
I don't know.
And right now, anyway. Like, that company needs to be restructured.
We just got this super chat.
What the heck is that?
Remember Night Owl used to... Okay, we're going to read this comment. Oh, look, it does show up on that thing. But
that's the only thing that shows up.
Okay, we're going to read this. Maybe all gaming, film, and music industry needs decentralization. The more centrality there is, the more arrogant, greedy executives you have playing with house money.
That's true.
Yes. How would you go about doing that, though? Like, decentralize something. Would you have some sort of independent third-party committee, like...
It's kind of like, I mean, it's like indie games or independent movies.
And that's a good, thank you, Drive-By Commenter, for that. Very nice comments.
I would totally agree. The problem is, this country specifically, and then many others like it, feed off a system of leadership that says any business that's successful needs a CFO, a CEO, a CMO, a CPO. Yes. And they have to make the decisions. And they have their cabinet. Right. And then everything else underneath that.
It's very much the Queen's Royal Court.
It is.
And you are within the approved circle.
Businesses are just fiefdoms. Yes. And like...
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Even if you make it to knight status, it takes... I have heard stories from my own career of folks that literally just lucked into it. Like, did not deserve to be a vice president of a company. No. But was just in the right place at the right time, like, hey, can you do this job? And then just like, does it. Right. Just, I was there. Unfortunately, it's ridiculous, and that's how it goes. And a lot of times it's not the right people for the right job, and they're getting way too much money. Right. But what can you do?
We can complain about it.
Definitely can complain about it.
Call them out on it.
Yes.
Continue.
And I mean,
like
if you
Rhea
want to...
said, I'm going after him. I'm dragging Bobby Kotick.
Get it. Grab him. Drag him.
Okay, now what?
Well, the one thing I want to say for Drive-By Commentaries and everyone else, if you want to make the world a better place, support independent businesses, support independent gaming companies, go on Etsy and buy from like independent artists and creators. Right. That's really how we break the mold of big corporate businesses running everything.
Unfortunately.
Yes, but it's a hard fight. The Rakaguki Rakugaki.
Let's just skip it.
Okay.
I mean, it's a cool AR app. If you want to play around with an AR app, say so and I'll tell you.
Say so. The Calm app.
The Calm app. Okay, so I want to talk about something because I have a lot of anxiety at night. At night, I feel like I turn into Arthur Fleck when he tells his therapist, I have nothing but bad thoughts. That's me. And sometimes it happens throughout the day too. But at night, it makes me so anxious I can't sleep. I have a lot of bad thoughts about just the suffering and pain in the world and things I can't change. I just get overwhelmed with feeling like I'm aware that there is so much terrible things, and no matter how much money I donate, and you're very aware, I get very depressed because I'm very sad on behalf of other people or the animals or the planet. I feel overwhelmed with grief over it. And at night, it's so much worse because I think about all these terrible, and throughout the day, I'm constantly signing petitions and talking to people and trying to educate myself on things that are happening, but it takes a toll on me. So I started listening to bedtime stories at night through this app called Calm. This is not a paid sponsor, by the way. We
have no paid sponsors ever.
We have never had a paid sponsor, but I just have to say that because I guess it's a rule. This is not a paid sponsor. It's $70 a year, but it's really nice for me because it takes my mind off of things when I get too overwhelmed at night and I'm able to sleep. Because if I don't use it, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking terrible things and I can't go back to bed.
Well, it's really nice because Matthew McConaughey does one.
Yeah, yes.
Harry Styles does one. Laura Dern did one.
The guy with the mustache from Parks and Rec.
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson does one. So I just had to say, if you have that problem or if you have trouble going to sleep at night, maybe look up some bedtime stories. You don't have to use Calm.
It was really nice when I was sick. I had a really bad sinus infection, and you put the Calm app on, and I didn't fall asleep like instantly, but it allowed me to at least, because it's very instructional. They tell you to relax and to let your mind wander. It helped me take my mind off the pain that I was in, which then allowed me to get comfortable enough that I could fall asleep.
Yeah, so it's useful.
It was incredibly useful.
We just have to.
Yes.
I had to recommend that to anyone who's suffering from the same thing I do. Which I don't know what it is, but at night I get really anxious.
I would also recommend it. It's great.
We love it.
We love it. Speaking of something Motherless Brooklyn.
Motherless Brooklyn. What was the other thing that you didn't want to talk about?
What do you mean? That was the next thing on the list.
Oh, okay. Well, I am going to read some of the comments because we have to do this every so often.
Yes, do it.
Duffman said, what fixes the anxiety issues at night is hard workouts in the afternoon. You used to have the same issue. Just do harder cardio. Sometimes that works for me, but I don't know.
You already do a lot of physical activity.
I do a lot of physical activity.
That's not your problem. So Duffman, I know what you're talking about. That's sort of I'm not tired in bed yet because you haven't expended the day's energy. That is not her issue. Yeah. She has expended the day's energy.
Yes.
But we'll get fixated on dark things.
Sad things.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm like Arthur Fleck. I'm like Vanessa Ives.
Because you're dead tired. You're like drop dead tired.
Yes.
But it's
just the mental stuff that I can't get over. Andre said, Combs about to take this entire conversation and put it in their next advert.
Please do.
I wouldn't even mind that, though. I wouldn't even mind that.
We'll take the sponsor.
Yeah, we'll take it.
No complaints.
Go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're going to talk about Motherless Brooklyn.
Let's talk about it.
I heard about Motherless Brooklyn last year on NPR, which is a film directed, written, and starring Edward Norton.
Ed Norton.
Ed Norton, whom we all love and adore because he seems like one of those people that can't do anything wrong.
I think I've heard he's a jerk. What are you talking about?
Who said he's a jerk?
He's just one of those
Ben Affleck?
No, he's one of those people in Hollywood that's labeled hard to work with.
I don't see that at all.
Yeah, Ed Norton has a
bet
reputation.
I would get along great with Ed Norton. We'd sit around and we'd talk about things.
Perhaps, but I think a lot of people don't.
Well, we saw it in Motherless Brooklyn. What did you think about it?
So, I thought it was a fun movie. It's essentially Chinatown. Mm-hmm. If you've ever seen Chinatown, they're pretty much the same movie.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the protagonist has Tourette's. So that was unique and different. It was incredibly forgettable.
That's a really sad way to describe it.
Like, there was nothing inherently wrong with it. But there also wasn't anything that just made me say, like... Because Chinatown, I could watch that again tonight. I could watch that right now. Like, I'm getting jazzed thinking about Chinatown.
So...
This just didn't have it. It was missing the it factor.
I agree. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine, but it didn't... There wasn't anything left to think about once the movie ended.
Yes.
There was nothing to discuss once the movie ended. Nothing at all. Which is fine if it's just a succinct story that gets wrapped up. But I didn't think... There was something really weird about it.
There was something really weird about it.
It didn't hit... I feel like it was... It followed too many cliches.
Yes, it was kind of like you were watching a copy of a movie.
Right.
Rather than a movie of a movie.
There was way too many cliches, such as when someone is being chased and their friends appear up at the top and bang them overhead. That's a huge cliche.
Yes.
Your friend shows up right at the right time.
It was like Tropes, the movie.
It was.
And I think the other thing was, it was just... It was so clean. It was so sanitized that there was just nothing unique about it. Like, the acting, the music. I will say the music was good. Not just because Radiohead was involved with it, but like the composer tried to mimic Radiohead throughout the entire thing, which was weird, but I appreciated it. I thought he did a good job. The music, I think, was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, unfortunately. We'll give that movie like a 6 or a 5.
I'd give it a 6.5.
6.5.
6.5.
Going back. I have to read
to the beginning.
Some things. Duncan said Harry Styles reading to him would send him into a panic spiral.
I don't know who Harry Styles is, but he read to me when I was sick, and it was very nice. He has a very nice voice. Just being fair, a lot of times the English accent can give me, like, anxiety. I get too focused on it.
Yeah.
I listen too much
really
to the
sad.
English accent. Well, I like it.
I love the English accent.
I like it, but, I'm just, like, intent. I'm like, ooh, what's they going to say now? But then Harry Styles starts talking, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's got a very calming voice.
Right. It's not...
I don't know who he is,
but
I will remember him forever because I fell asleep to him talking to me.
He was in a boy band.
No way.
I think.
I'm
pretty sure. Someone will say so.
Hold on.
Someone will say so. Oh, yeah, he was in One Direction.
No way. No
That's who he was.
way.
Duncan says, remember Norton in Birdman? And Mr. Tellius says, hello, fellow human beings. Hello, Mr. Tellius. I never saw Birdman. Was that the one
You saw Birdman? With Michael Keaton?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
If I saw it, I watched it begrudgingly.
You don't remember like the...
I watched it begrudgingly.
Yeah.
He dies at the end, right? I don't even honestly care. He does die. Yes, he does.
Harry Styles.
He dies at the end.
Was he in something we've seen?
I don't think so. He dies at the end, right? Okay, Duffman says, was Edward Norton the one who kicked off the Marvel project because he was difficult?
Yes.
Who was he going to be in Marvel?
The Hulk.
So they replaced him with Marco Rufio?
Not Marco Rufio. That is the... We're not even going to get into it. We're not going to get into what Marco Rufio is. But we will get into Mark Ruffalo.
No one's going to know who that is.
Yeah, I think everyone knows who Mark Ruffalo and Marco Rufio.
That's a good name. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like the character from Hulk in that one New York. Was it was he mayor of New York?
That's funny. Rhea says, wait, is Flex being sarcastic or did he really not know Harry Styles was in One Direction?
No, I really didn't know.
Okay, I didn't know that either, to give him some credit. I just knew he was in a boy band.
I'm not a pop guy.
You know, One Direction.
I know One Direction.
I want it my way.
Tell me why.
That is a great boy band.
They
need to get together.
It's the best boy band since the Beatles.
They need to get... Yeah, they really are. NSYNC. Isn't it weird how...
That was Backstreet Boys. Wow. Kite Tails.
That's a faux pas. Mr. Telly says, I just got here, so you might have been talking about the movie, but Harry Styles was in Dunkirk. Oh!
No way.
We need to see
I
Dunkirk.
want to see that so I can watch 1917, which I heard is a better movie.
Yes, we're going to watch Dunkirk and then 1917. Drive-by commentator says Rufio. We need to do that for a movie night.
Hook?
Yes. Hook for a movie night.
That'd be a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Is that streaming anywhere?
I don't know, but we should definitely do Hook for a movie night.
Let's do it.
That would be amazing. Talk about what a cool aesthetic for Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Very cool aesthetic for Peter Pan. Okay, so now let's talk about some other things.
Yeah, now let's talk about Harry Styles.
I guess we'll talk about As Above, So Below. Because that was
yes, that's not even on the list.
We watched this horror movie on Netflix called As Above, So Below, and it is set in the French catacombs under the streets of Paris, which is there are miles and miles of tunnel underneath the city, and they were used to store bones, There's 6 million skeletons underneath these catacombs. So the movie takes place, and there's this archaeologist. She is the daughter of a professor who is trying to find the Philosopher's Stone.
If you know anything about Laura Croft, she is just Laura Croft.
Yes.
That's it. That's all she is.
And it's a fantastic horror movie.
It's amazing.
It's so good. You guys have to watch it. As Above, So Below.
I loved it so much. Like, it might be one of my favorite horror movies I've seen.
It's so good.
It kind of gave me like Insidious vibes in a way because it was just so different from what I was used to seeing in horror. I love that they had a lot of fun. They changed things up. It's very magical. If you know what magical realism is, the style, it definitely leans into that. Oh, it's so good.
Kyle said he heard of it and he heard it was bad.
It's great.
It's amazing. It's so good.
It's so good.
So good for so many reasons. It's scary, but it's great. It's a found footage style.
Definitely the less you know, the better.
Yes.
And
just watch it.
It's just magical.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
It is.
Like
Wunderbar.
Mexican Ninja says, do you guys ever try and reach out to a wider audience or push for more views? I'm subbed to you guys for years, but can't remember why and only watched a handful of videos. I mean,
no.
No, we don't.
I don't think we've ever said like, comment, and subscribe.
We've never ever tried.
Legitimately.
We've never tried to upkeep anything with our schedules, with streaming.
We just do this because we enjoy it.
Yeah, we do this mainly just to talk to.
As long as people keep showing up, we just keep doing it.
Right.
But we don't look for more.
No, never. There's just, I can't.
There's no reason, really.
There's no reason for it, but also I feel that whole, and networking with people for that reason is so exhausting. We've only ever said we've met friends here, really good friends that we enjoy watching movies with and playing games.
Our online family.
Right, our online family. This is how we've met them.
Yes.
And in hopes of ever running across anyone to join our tight-knit little circle, that's the only reason that we would do this. You know, if anyone out there, if one person ever needed a group of people that they got along with and they stumbled across us, then that would be great, because I think that's how a lot of the people that we currently know have found us. And I like it like that. I do not want to be anything more than just, you know, a close-knit little circle.
I agree.
So that's our views on that.
Speaking of close-knit circles.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough. Oh, yeah, we watched that show by...
Or we watched the first episode
We watched the first episode.
By J.G. Quintel.
Right, who is the...
Regular show.
I honestly don't remember a lot about that first episode.
I do. I remember I didn't like it.
I was drugged. So I couldn't help it. I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
Why?
Regular show, there was obscurity, but the obscurity had purpose. Like, every single weird thing that happened in the regular show fit into the larger theme around it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's almost like absurd, abstract art. You still understand what you're looking at when you zoom out.
Right.
But when you zoom in, it's crazy. Close Enough feels like he tried to do the same thing, but to the next level.
Yeah.
Where it's more mature, it's more absurd, there's more side stories happening, and I just feel lost. I feel like it's just way too fast, too much stuff's happening, and I'm not enjoying any of it.
Well, we just watched the first episode, so it might change, but all I remember from the first episode was It was very chaotic. They were trying to get
A quilt.
a quilt for their daughter's
Quilt patch.
But then they came to this creepy
They
market.
found a bunch of orphans.
And that's all. I blacked out.
The orphans are actually old people.
I do not remember that.
And then they fought them. And there was
totally
like hundreds of
blacked
them.
out.
They're zombies.
Okay.
See, I'm not even making this up. This is legit.
Okay, but that
The
sounds
premise.
like something that would happen on regular show.
Yeah,
that is literally
that's
what
the thing
would happen
though. Is
on
like
regular
it
show.
feels like regular show, but it doesn't feel right.
So it would be better. It would be better if Mordecai and Rigby were married on Close Enough and had kids, and it was a story of their life instead of new characters.
Yes, and
Then we'd watch it.
And when you think about regular show, the one thing it has working for it right off the bat is their animals.
Right, and not all of them because one of them is a gumball.
Yes, one of them is a gumball.
Two of them are a gumball machine.
And then one of them is an abominable snowman.
Yeah.
But they're all weird, fantastical things.
Right.
Close enough, they're all people. And they're people that live in a very real world situation. Like they're low-income parents and they have roommates. It's like, this is a little too real to be so unreal.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that might be part of what I don't like about it. Is
Right.
It's lost some of the charm of having these zany yet relatable animals, and
Yeah.
instead traded them in for very down to earth humans that
I
act.
might try watching more of it just
Insane.
because Hydrosaur, whose opinion I respect, he's my buddy, my French buddy.
He's a French buddy.
But he wanted me to watch it, so I might watch more of it for his sake. Down with Planker says I've seen it. There's some really good scenes in that movie. Oh, that might be talking about
As Above, So Below.
So
Yeah.
Below. Let's see.
Did you put Dirty Harry on here?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
SSG Livestreams wants to know who's that dog. That dog over there on the other side of him. That's Smudge. Yeah, he's Smudge. He's sleeping. He's really... Actually, we should try and show him off for his haircut. If we can wake him up.
Thanks much. Okay.
Mexican Ninja says, I figured, thanks for the answer. I will watch more since you guys are pretty fun from what I've seen. Thank you. And honestly, if you know, we're really not that heavy-centric online, on social media or anything like that. But we're on Discord regularly. You can always join our Discord, talk to us there if you want. We're very interactive there. Yeah, so Smudge got a haircut. Look at him. Look how short his fur is. You guys probably don't remember, but last week he was a shaggy boy.
Now he's a handsome man.
Yeah, he's handsome now. Oh, Mexican Ninja said you should see the original concept video that's just them dripping on acid. Is that for regular show? The concept video? That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what else? Regular show also takes place in this very mythical era that's like the 80s.
Yes, which is nice.
It's just cool.
Yeah.
Like, Close Enough definitely takes place in 2019
Right,
or 2020.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
So
close
far, we like regular show better.
yes.
What's next on the list?
Next on the list,
Dirty Harry?
I don't see Dirty Harry on here, so let's talk
Well,
about
briefly talk about Dirty Harry. So Dirty Harry is what, 1973?
it. Something like that.
1971.
70s for sure.
I think it was 1971. Clint Eastwood, do you feel lucky, punk? Well, do ya? That's where this is from.
Now you're probably asking yourself, did he fire 5 shots or 6?
Okay, his advertisement, the way he points his gun, he's like, this is a 45 Magnum, something.
It was a 44, yeah.
A 44 Magnum. I thought that was
Most
a...
powerful handgun.
I want to know
known
how many
man.
Magnum cells went up after that.
I can imagine everyone and their brother went to the gun store.
Yes,
Like,
you
give me
know
the
they
Dirty
did.
Harry.
They want the Dirty Harry
I
gun.
want 2.
So we've never seen Dirty Harry before. I've actually never seen a young Clint Eastwood movie before, and I was enamored. I love him.
You haven't seen any of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly trilogy?
No.
Wow.
This is my first young Clint Eastwood film.
He's amazing.
He's fantastic. I was infatuated with his character. What was his name? What was his name? I can't even remember.
I thought it was Harry.
No, it was Harry something.
Harry Claremont? Harry
Someone will say it.
Clomwell?
But
Clamwell?
I just love this movie. If you want a good classic.
It's a surprising movie.
Action movie.
I'd never seen it before.
I've never seen it either, but look, not just was it a cool action movie, but the story was so good. It goes this, and then it continues going up.
Yeah, it's a
and
trip.
then you're like, wait a second, and it goes up even more.
You're like, I can't believe where this is going.
It's so good. Yes.
And then it goes there.
It's so good. And then at
great.
the very end of it, he's this cop, and he's so frustrated. He just takes his cop badge and throws it. It's like such a perfect ending.
Yes.
It's such a good movie.
It is a good ending.
Yeah, we should watch the rest of them.
We should.
But Dirty Harry, 1971, just because it's old doesn't mean it's awesome. Go watch it.
Tell me about Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful, Duncan, thank you. Harry Callahan, that was it.
Harry Callahan. I was close.
Yeah, you were.
Clamwell.
You were.
I mean, that's almost all the letters.
Duncan says must watch Magnum Force. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, Duncan, we're going to put that on the list because if we like Dirty Harry and you think we're going to like Magnum Force, because I adore Dirty Harry.
I've only seen westerns of Clint Eastwood.
Okay, Magnum Force it is.
Let's do it.
Magnum Force it is. Okay, so Penny Dreadful. Yeah, Duncan pointed out the Ophelia ending. Duncan, are you Fouar? Because he said the same exact thing. And Duncan is an Irish name. Interesting. I finished watching Penny Dreadful, and that was the show, if you recall, that was so obsessed with the Dark Lord. I'm not talking about Lucifer. I'm talking about Dracula. Loves Dracula. Listen, ladies. Explain to me why ladies love Edwardian, dark, gothic, creepy, really handsome Dracula. Explain, because I don't know, but I fall for it every time. It's the universe I want to be in. Do I want to be a sick, weak Edwardian lady with the secret power to control minds who's being chased by Dracula?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm guessing the answer is yes. You want to be that. See, me...
I don't know why these shows are targeted towards women and we just eat it up and we continue to... It's like Outlander. Someone put Outlander on TV and it was like a cat...
Would Outlander be better with vampires?
No.
Are you sure?
No. Because Outlander has time travel. It has time travel and it has a very burly Scotsman who just worships the ground that his wife walks on.
So I haven't seen it, but I know...
I love it.
I know a character or two. Let me just give you a potential season 7. What if Jamie gets bit by a vampire, becomes an immortal, sends Claire back into the future, then he is there, waiting in the corner, and he's like, Claire,
I'm not even going to joke
drink
with you.
from me, and we'll live forever.
Something happened on episode 1 to where the ladies are like, is Jamie actually lurking in the shadows?
See? I'm telling you.
I love Outlander, and so...
Make him a vampire, it's better.
When we were playing Fallout with my brother... I heard on his team speak in the background, I heard Jamie Fraser, who is a character on Outlander, and I said, is she listening to Outlander? And so then I texted her, and we started talking about it. I don't know why. The ladies love Outlander. I have the Outlander. 4 books over there.
Have you read them?
Not yet.
They look good on that shelf, though. They look
cool.
They hold that shelf up.
But that's good. Duffman said Anne Rice knew what kind of characters suck.
I was just going to say, my obsession with vampires started with Anne Rice.
Right.
I remember.
But isn't she kind of crazy now?
She's nuts.
Why is she so?
She drank the serious Christian Kool-Aid. Became a Seventh-day Adventist.
Does she denounce every single thing she's ever written?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So she continues to make money off her work, but she hates her work at the same time.
Yes.
How is that possible?
Anne
you
Rice.
know what, though? We're going to get into this. What happened to J.K. Rowling? Another author with a really successful book series. We've said this before. If you are successful, if you have money, stay offline. You don't need a social media account.
You don't.
I've seen so many people just get completely ruined by social media. Just because it's a really nasty place.
I think Anne Rice was crazy before social media.
That's sad.
It is sad.
I mean,
very talented, because I loved Interview with the Vampire and the sequel, The Vampire Lestat. And that started my whole... I got into Vampire the Masquerade, and then I was like, I gotta watch all what were those stupid movies with Kate Beckinsale? Not Blood Rain, the other one. Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld.
Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld.
Loved it. And then,
Right.
like, True Blood happened, and the first season of True Blood's great, and then it turns out to be, like, Penny Dreadful, and I just fell off of it. Like,
It's
literally,
too
the
much.
first season's vampires.
It was
Second
too
season,
much.
there's, like, a Minotaur and a fairy, and then, like, everyone's a fairy, and they all have magical power. This is
Yes.
dumb. I still love vampires, though, and I cannot wait for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Bring it.
Not Green says, is there a Discord link? I can send you one if you want to, or maybe someone can message you on YouTube and send you one, but I'll get one for you. At the end of the stream, I'll post a link for you. Oh, Duncan says money is what happened to them. I don't know. Money, though, yeah, money makes people go crazy, but why would money make you turn on your own artwork?
I think there's a fear that once you have money, you could lose it. So
Yeah.
you want to keep the attention, keep the power, keep that
guess so.
crank. I don't know. I don't understand it.
I know,
but
we've never
that. Been there.
Yeah, we've never been there.
So I can't really judge.
Well, listen, if we are there and we ever start acting like that, someone please just come and bonk us on the head to bring us back to reality.
Yeah.
We don't ever want to be so out of touch like that. What's next on the list?
Next on the list, hold on. One sec.
Starkara says, did someone say vampires? What'd I tell you? The ladies flock to the vampires.
Starkara shows up. She loves the vampires.
She loves them.
Tabletop Simulator.
I just forget it.
All right.
I mean, briefly, okay, here, I'm going to say this about Tabletop Simulator. Okay?
Okay.
Tabletop Simulator is a great game because it supports up to 10 players, but you have an entire catalog of tabletop games at your disposal. And we're not just talking about tabletop games like Yahtzee. We're talking about tabletop games that are so obscure.
The way you said that was aggressive.
Because I didn't want to say Yahtzee. I was thinking of something else, but Yahtzee came
Una?
out. Something like that. But it's so much fun.
It's great fun.
And so, please, if you want to join, let us know. Because we're always playing Tabletop Sim.
I'm going to jump ahead in the list.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about some new stuff.
New stuff.
Some stuff that just happened.
Bring some stuff because I'm going to go get a glass of water.
Okay.
I'm thirsty. Would you like a glass of water?
I'm good, thank you. It's time that we break into our Bug Snacks Minute, talking about Bug Snacks, where I talk to you about Bug Snacks. There's a new trailer that just came out for Bug Snacks. We now know the game is first person. It kind of has an odd world, what was that first person one that came out, vibe to it, where you move through an island. It looks like it could be open world. You're setting traps and trying to coach the little snacks to come out of their locations. Like there might be a fry snack hidden in a cave, and in order to get the fry snack out, you just send a strawberry snack in to lure it away. But then you're building a village. You're helping build Bug Snack Island back to
we don't really know
its
what it's
former glory.
fully about right now, though.
We do know that you feed the snacks to people, and they
You
turn
feed the
into
snacks, and
you
then
are
they
what you
turn
eat.
into- yes.
Yes.
And you're weird.
That's talking about Bug Snacks, the Bug Snacks Minute. Check out the trailer. I cannot wait for that game.
Bug snacks.
Speaking of Bug Snacks, big drop just like hours ago.
Yeah?
Big news.
Oh, is that the thing?
Big news.
Tell us.
For 6 years, fans of Rocksteady, who did the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, have been patiently waiting for whatever it is they were working on next. Rumors had it. It was going to be another Batman. Rumors had it. They were working on a Superman game. Well, today on their Twitter, they dropped the announcement. We saw the Man of Steel, but from behind.
But who is it? What
That's
does he
Superman.
look like?
And on his back of his dome.
Oh, yeah, I know that's the Man of Steel. I'm saying, did it look like Henry Cavill?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
That would be cool.
it's part of the. I'm guessing it's part of the Rocksteady universe. But
Yeah.
on the back of his head is a target, and that target says Suicide Squad.
Wow.
What the heck?
What does that mean?
I have a feeling if it's based on anything else Rocksteady's done, this is going to be a game where you get to play as members of the Suicide Squad, and you're going to be hunting down the Justice League, which sounds like a fantastic premise.
Yeah.
Because it would be really hard to do a Justice League game because the Justice League is just so darn powerful. Even like the new Marvel game that's coming out, if you look at some of the early previews, people are like really on it.
Yeah.
It's hard
too
to do.
overpowered?
Yeah. Spider-Man's great because Spider-Man swings web, but when he gets punched, he still goes flying.
Mm-hmm.
Superman's impossible because when he gets punched, basically his body punches back.
Right.
Like, it's just not fun. Batman's great because he's mortal.
Right.
Suicide Squad is great because they're deranged criminals who are incredibly fallible.
So it's going to be like The Boys, basically.
Yes, and they're going to be chasing the Justice League.
It's going to be like The Boys.
Like, they're all going to be bosses. Like,
yes.
I can just imagine, like a boss battle where you're playing as Captain Boomerang and you're chasing down Wonder Woman, like, throwing boomerangs. That's so good. Give me that game. Ugh.
That would be that is a cool premise.
Yes.
We've said, so when the Suicide Squad movie came out, I thought the coolest thing about the Suicide Squad movie was the ending after the credits, the 2-minute trailer teaser where Lex Luthor is on a boat. Oh, that was Justice League.
That was Justice League.
Okay, then apparently I didn't like anything about Suicide Squad.
That's sad. Captain Boomerang was great.
No, I did like the character cards for Suicide Squad. I think those were very artistically done when they introduced the characters.
Oh yeah, the color and the
that was cool. Yeah,
those were good.
But that is a good premise, though, to have that.
Yeah.
And it does sound like The Boys, season 2 of which, did you see the trailer?
I haven't seen it.
Well, The Boys was fantastic, and apparently it was based on a comic book.
A really hard to read comic
A really
book.
bad, not bad, it's heavy.
It's the most edgelordy, edgy thing
it's just too much.
I ever read.
It's just too much. It's way overboard.
It's way overboard.
Yeah. So the TV show, though, made it watchable.
Yes.
It took away
without
a lot of...
But the thing is it didn't remove anything.
Right.
It's just how it presented it and talked about it.
Right.
It's much more
doesn't
respectful.
Need to be so,
yes.
in your face about it. But The Boys was such a great show, so I'm excited for season 2 because it is a different take on superheroes today, like how they would work. They would be an entity run by a corporation, and they would be so incredibly corrupt. And so then it's up to human vigilantes to take down this evil corporation, which is a great premise. So I'm excited for that.
I can't wait.
We can't wait.
Bring on the boys.
Yes.
We need to talk about the Beirut ammonium nitrate explosion.
Yes. So this past week, there was an explosion that happened in a port in Lebanon in Beirut. And it's just, if you've seen the videos, it's so catastrophic and heartbreaking.
It's just devastating.
Absolutely devastating. Just seeing these buildings just vaporize, which is terrifying to think about. And they've got so many thousands are injured and still missing.
What was the thing about the
hundreds
grain?
Are dead.
You said something about grain.
Oh, yeah. This is what, I didn't know this, but someone in the Discord said that 80% of their grain resources are depleted.
That's terrible.
And that port was a main port for them to receive grain into. And so they only have about a month worth of food reserves. It's so sad. So I made a donation to them, and if you're in a position to do so, please do that as well. But the reason it's speculated is because years ago there was a ship that was carrying ammonium nitrate. And for some reason, there was a malfunction in the ship, and it was left at the dock. And the ship was abandoned at that point. They never came back. And people were warning the government, saying, this material, this ammonium nitrate, must be disposed of because it's very dangerous. And the way it was stacked, there was a photo. It was stacked like sandbags on top of each other.
Oh, wow.
In an enclosed space, in the heat. And it just caused
all it would take is like
massive,
one spark.
Right. It caused a massive chemical reaction, and this is what happened. And it's just so heartbreaking to think about. This is something that was avoidable. It wasn't even like an accident. It was a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to some of the reports. President Macron of France went to go visit, and the Lebanese people were so upset because even their own president hadn't come and visit them after this happened in Beirut.
That's
so the
terrible.
people there were very upset, and they were telling him to please send a message of they want justice for what happened, and they want to be recognized because their own president didn't even do that. It's just an awful situation. It's so sad. So
terrible.
It is really terrible. So yeah, if you're in a position to donate, please do so. But just be aware of it. I think a lot of people, there's so much, and this is coming from someone too who's very involved in keeping up with a lot of misery out in the world. but you should never ever. Sometimes at work, I will come across a petition or something I signed so many petitions to lawmakers to get them to pass bills for animal rights or environmentalism. And I always say to myself, like, if I ever come across something, I never go to another window. I take the time, the few seconds to read it, become aware, and then sign a letter to my representative, because it just takes none of your time. I think if people were to get more in the habit of doing that, we're so with social media and Twitter that it's like a dopamine hit. Over and over, you scroll and you get to see good things and things like that. Right.
Yeah.
And I think people become really desensitized to it. That's why there's a lot of people on Twitter, and I don't use Twitter. I am involved with a lot of like animal rights things on Twitter and Audrey Hepburn photos, and that's basically what I use Twitter for, is to associate with those things. But
have you heard of doom scrolling?
No.
So that's another thing, and I've definitely found myself doing that occasionally.
What's that?
That's when you go on like Reddit and basically just check out the subreddits that report all the things going on and just seeing how terrible everything is. Doom scrolling, basically like, oh, what's going on now? Like, what bad thing's happening?
Right.
And I've definitely been guilty of that.
Yeah.
Just like, I can't believe this, and you keep looking
you
like,
have to
what
keep
else?
it in check,
what other terrible things are happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who like to just play political commentator and to rile people up, and they're so obsessed with like the U.S. presidency, and they wouldn't even be able to tell you who their congresswoman is. Right. And that is such a ridiculous thing. Please do not be drawn in by those people, because they have such a narrow worldview, and they're only doing it for the entertainment sake or their own popularity. It has nothing to do with the actual world issues. So just try and educate yourself a little bit more, and that's what we have to say about that.
I think it's a great point.
Yes.
California's tackling plastic recycling uses for asphalt.
Yes. This is what I heard, because we are at an all-time high of single-use plastic productions, and California is trying to make it illegal for companies to do so. That you cannot produce single-use plastics, which would be like a plastic bag. Straws, or a plastic wrapper around like a banana or something like that. Right. So there's this company in California that wants to try and take plastic and turn it into asphalt glue, basically.
Like tar?
Something to hold the roads together.
Yeah, it's like tar.
Yeah, like glue.
Huh.
And so I thought that was pretty cool.
And they're doing it?
They're working on it.
That's impressive.
That's like an idea that they want for recycling. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
We like to talk about cool people.
Cool stuff from cool people. Speaking of cool stuff, Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
Yeah, Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
You put this on here.
Honestly, I watched the trailer, but I wasn't enthralled by it.
I loved that game.
I love Pikmin, but something was really weird about the trailer.
We played it. It was on the Wii U.
Then why is it on the list?
Because they're bringing it to the Switch. I don't know. You put it on the... Wait. Why is it on the list?
Yeah.
Why is it on the list?
That's creepy.
Muppets.
Well, Delphman says, what's Flex and yours preferred news sources for these kind of stories? I listen to NPR for my main everyday, like going to work sort of, here's what is going on, because it does world news and then it does local news. But it's not just news, too. It's like different things, like the story I just read about California recycling plastic, that's on NPR. So we both love NPR. Yep. But I listen to a lot of online, Center for Biological Diversity is another site I keep up with, and that is pretty much what it says, biological diversity. They're very involved with protecting animals and environmentalist conservation, so I get to hear a lot about what certain bills need to get passed in order to protect whatever targeted land or animal is up for risk this week, because it's constantly, the protections are being pulled back against them. But yeah, so I check out NPR. Also, honestly, just going on
Reddit's great.
Is a great source too, because you get a lot of different links to a lot of different news stories, and those will lead to different news stories as well. So
if you have an iPhone, the Apple News app is actually great.
Right.
Also,
and that's
you can set that. It's curated, but you can also set it to be very broad. Mm-hmm. So it'll actually give me articles from news sources that I don't find reputable or credible, But it is good to listen to and see like what other people are saying.
Right.
So you hear all sides of the story and know how to defend your own arguments when people make them with you. So that's a good one. If you want something that's just very broad, non-biased, it's going to show you everything.
And also, check out a subscription to your local paper. Like I have an online subscription to our local paper, and I get stories every morning from them. So I listen to that and I watch that. Yeah, I pay for that.
You can also set Google alerts. So I don't do it for political news, but I have Google alerts tied to news around things I need to keep up with for like my work. So anything in the tech industry, big announcements, I have an email sent to me that's like, these are the things you should know about.
Yeah. And we cannot stress enough, please listen to journalistic sources. Don't rely on people who, hey guys, it's Kite and Flex. We're going to give you the weekly news for the day. No.
Smash that like button and let me tell you why you need to vote for Kanye for president.
We will go over things that we've heard, but we are in no way a political affiliation.
No.
So please
do your own research.
Yes, exactly.
All right. The Muppets.
The Muppets. So we watched one episode of The Muppets.
Well, there's only one episode to watch.
So what is it, though?
Muppets Now. It's a new weekly recurring show by the Muppets, put on Disney Plus, and it's weird. That RuPaul interview was hilarious.
Okay, yes. The first episode of Muppets Now had a really decent. Well, it wasn't like a very in-depth interview. It was a good, decent length interview with RuPaul.
It was like a 10-minute interview.
Yeah, done in a very funny way, though.
It was very cute and funny.
Very cute.
Yeah.
So the Muppets are great. But what did we notice? They broke up Miss Piggy and Kermit.
Rightfully so.
Miss Piggy and Kermit don't even interact. They act like ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend.
Good. About time Kermit got away from that.
I once said something about Miss Piggy being great, and the chat just dragged me.
Yes, because she's an abuser.
I never noticed that growing up, though.
That's how abuse works.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is sad.
That's really
sad. You don't
sad.
notice it until it's too late.
I don't notice it because she would literally like karate chop Kermit.
Hi-ya! Cover that face. It's weird though.
She would literally karate chop him in the throat.
Yeah.
But no one noticed it. No one noticed that.
Like,
how did I never?
She would chop him.
I was never aware of it though.
She'd chop him so hard he came off the hand.
That's really sad.
Flying.
How no one noticed?
How did no?
Why didn't anybody
Lots
notice
of people noticed Kite Tails.
No one noticed.
You didn't notice.
No one noticed.
Guys,
who in the chat noticed?
Man, that should be. Oh my gosh! Here's a free idea. You want like a new Five Nights at Freddy's? A game where you play as Kermit.
Oh my gosh, that's a really
trying to run from Miss Piggy.
And she's like,
Kermit,
come back to bed, Kermit. Oh, she doesn't like that.
I'm gonna eat you, Kermit.
She does not like Miss Piggy's voice.
No, no one does. But the sad thing is like Miss Piggy's such an iconic character, though.
Yeah.
Frank Oz.
Okay, but here's the thing: is Miss Piggy a feminist symbol?
I hope not. No.
I'm pretty sure she is.
No.
I'm pretty sure she is because Kate Spade's retailer, who does purses, by the way, for the ladies, had a bunch of Miss Piggy stuff. They had a silver clutch with the word written on it with her face.
What if Piggy is a hero for the Karens?
She probably is.
Yeah, Piggy's like a Karen icon.
She probably is.
Yeah.
Piggy is a legit Karen. Okay, Duncan says everybody noticed. I swear, growing up, why didn't anyone tell me?
They make it pretty obvious. He come off the hand.
That's really sad. Now what? Oh, SSG livestream says, who's the big dog? That's Luna. Yeah. She's a good girl. She's 8 years old.
She's sweet.
I think she just went to bed now.
She went to bed,
This is a little too late for her.
Fauna and Flora.org to read about the preservation of species.
Oh, yeah. So this, I should have tagged that site, but that's floraandfauna.org.
Fauna-flora.org.
Fauna-flora.org. Is a really good website if you guys want to read more about just conservation work for endangered species. But they had a really good post about how we have to make sure that parasites don't go extinct, because a lot of animals who are endangered there are certain parasites associated with that animal, and if that animal's gone, the parasite is gone, and we don't know what the missing that parasite, if you take it out of the ecosystem, how it's going to affect. So I thought that was a good thing.
There is a phenomenal, probably the best episode of Radiolab. It's called Parasites.
Whoa.
If you've never listened to it, it's so
Radiolab's
good.
a great podcast.
It will make you love parasites. They're so
Wow.
cool. Like it's all about parasites. It's great. It's great fun.
Parasites.
Fun for the whole family.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Sponsored by Parasites.
Parasites.
Rio says, I've definitely seen some people try to pass her off as a feminist icon, but they always get dragged. Miss Piggy.
It kind of makes sense.
Okay,
she's not empowering
you
women.
don't want Miss Piggy to be your feminist icon.
No. Not at all.
Because you don't want to get your way by karate chopping your man in the throat.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Making Miss Piggy a feminist icon is like making Jerry Seinfeld from the show, not the real person, but like Seinfeld on the show is like, oh, that's what all men aspire to be like Jerry Seinfeld. It's like,
no, absolutely not.
Or Kramer.
No.
Let's
not even get into Kramer.
Let's not even get not a sex symbol. Speaking of, actually, this isn't fair at all because I don't agree with that statement. I was going to say, speaking of Jerry Seinfeld, there's an item on our list that says, not everyone is funny. But I think Jerry Seinfeld's freaking hilarious, so I'm not going to do that.
That's not a good segue.
I'm not going to do that segue.
Okay, let's talk about this, though.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Not everyone is funny.
That's true.
You will come across people in your life who are very funny.
Very funny. We've got some.
We have some people who are very funny.
Like, make you cry. You're laughing so hard.
They're great. But here's the thing. Not everyone is funny. I don't know why this is, but a lot of celebrities, you'll see them on talk shows, and they just try and be funny the entire time.
The entire time.
Jokes
that don't land. Jokes that don't land.
I don't get that. I don't get why interviews with people today, they have to rely so much on the person they're interviewing being funny. And it's just the talk show host and the person being interviewed, the actor, and they try to be funny, and you just think not everyone's a comedian. And this has led to this onslaught of all these people on Netflix. And it's so obvious the way humor today is so stupid too. I'm not there are some funny stand-up comedians like Dave Chappelle, John Mulaney,
Jerry Seinfeld.
Anyone else? No. There are some people who get up and they're like, hey guys, so Netflix gave me a special. And it sucks. And that's it.
Hey, so I got a new joke here. Yeah.
What are we doing that?
Why did it take across the road?
Why?
I don't know.
But why is that? But there are some people out there.
There are some
who do that stuff.
Yes.
And they have this stupid pauses. I just can't stand it.
Even John Mulaney, who I think is one of the funniest people on the planet.
John Mulaney's hilarious.
His sense of humor is great. His writing, the way he writes and constructs his jokes is just
he was an actual writer for Saturday Night Live, right?
Yes. But when you watch him do interviews, he's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's just up there telling stories. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not. Like, he's just having a conversation.
Right.
But it's weird when you see someone like Bryan Cranston go up there. I'm not trying to drag Bryan Cranston. I'm just using him as an example. I have no idea if he does this. But, like, you'll see someone like him.
Okay, but Bryan Cranston's really funny.
He is really funny.
We need to pick another man.
Okay.
Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, you see.
Hugh Laurie's pretty funny. Let's pick... Who's a really unfunny man who's just so... What's that one Captain America guy?
Chris Evans.
He's not funny.
Okay, so Chris Evans goes on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, Jimmy, let me tell you about my life as Captain America. And everyone's like losing their minds, laughing. It's like, this isn't funny.
It's not funny.
This is not funny. Chris Evans isn't supposed to be funny.
I don't know why. But we need to stop allowing
and I'm not saying he did that. I'm just
funny.
an example.
Yeah.
Chris Evans fans, don't give me... I like Chris Evans a lot. I
don't understand why. I just don't understand why.
No,
why
it's
does
weird.
everyone think they're a comedian these days? I've never once claimed to be funny. I would never say in a description of myself, funny.
I can do funny voices.
We can do funny voices.
But I don't consider myself to be a funny person.
No. I'm not trying to slay the room. I'm not trying to make a joke.
No.
If I do laugh, when I laugh, it's more so because someone has said something to make me funny.
There's
to
different
make me laugh.
kinds of funny too, because like
Right.
you and I can do voices. I'd say that's like probably our funniest thing we do is
Voices.
We do really good voices.
Yes.
I'm gonna pick on someone from our group.
Right.
Starkara has an incredible wit.
Yes.
No one makes me laugh the way Starkara does.
Yes,
Because
this is true.
she can come into the room and just like say something that is so true.
Yes.
And like I don't even know if she intends it to be this way.
She intends it, trust me.
But
she
it
intends
just
it.
cuts to the quick.
Yes.
Like makes me bust a gut laughing.
Right.
Some people have this natural ability to do it.
And that's great because that's their thing.
Yes.
But not everyone has that thing.
That's the thing though.
and so
You don't need
sometimes-
to.
Right. So there's no need to always try and be funny.
Right.
We just had to take that segue.
Yeah, just take it.
Just take it.
Take the segue.
Pyle says, let's go back up
Hit
here
the
a little
chat.
bit.
Hit up the chat.
Jose says Bill Burr. Jose Rodriguez says Bill Burr is funny. Who's Bill Burr?
Bill Burr was on the episode of Mandalorian where they did the heist. He was the one who had the crew. He manned the crew of the heist.
Oh, he's the bad guy?
Yeah.
I still don't know who
He was also in Breaking Bad. See, I've never seen a stand-up, but I've seen him in
we've
shows.
never seen him.
I know
okay,
who he
so
is.
we might have to watch a stand-up just to see. Because that's one Bill Burr. Okay, so let's see what else. Blah, blah, blah. Bill Burr. Pyle says, I'm funny, I'm hilarious. Duncan says, or the actor who played Kramer. Rio says, some people are so painfully unfunny, it legitimately ruins my mood. Yes.
That's the thing.
That's what we're talking about, Rio. It's just, not everyone has to be funny. Duffman says, maybe they're just trying out their material. Maybe they're just experimenting in the wrong forum. Yeah, it's okay for you to try out your material. I mean, like...
Here's the thing, though. If you're trying out your material and you're bombing,
yeah,
get your material.
That's true. Yes, try another angle. Okay, so apparently we have to watch Bill Burr. Jose Rodriguez says Tom Segura. I don't know who that is either.
I think he's been on NPR.
Okay, so we have some other names now. Tom Segura and Bill Burr.
We'll
we will actually check them out. We will take those recommendations. Not Green says it's a good interview channel.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Not Green. I'm
I
not
appreciate
sure what
it.
that was in regards to.
No, I mean, you know.
I think we missed it.
Unless he's talking about us.
I don't think he's talking about.
We interviewed
one person. And that guy was amazing.
He was.
We're never going to be able to top that.
No. That's why we only did one.
Top that.
Because you can't beat it.
Yeah. So, Ansel says Kathleen Madigan is on Netflix and everyone should know her. Okay, so we have stuff. Okay, Jose Rodriguez says, I watch way too much stand-up. A lot of it's bad, a lot is great. I will say, yes, some stand-up is really, really funny. I love Dave Chappelle. I think he is so funny. He will just tell you straight up.
He is honest.
He's very honest.
And his honesty is funny.
Yes.
Because he says...
I love that, though, because he's so... His judgments about the situation are so objective that neither side will be happy hearing it if they're too polarized.
The thing about Dave Chappelle, so Jerry Seinfeld, they always said, like, he's just saying what everyone's thinking. Like right. Larry David. He's just saying what everyone's thinking. Dave Chappelle is saying what you should be thinking.
Yes.
And you're like... Oh, he's right.
Right.
It's like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But that's funny because he's true. He's right.
Yes. We love Dave Chappelle.
He's great.
He seems like a really good person.
You know who else is really funny that I love, I adore, and like had a great stand-up? Fred Armisian.
Oh, yeah. Fred Armisian's really funny.
If you've never seen his stand-up, that he doesn't tell any jokes and just plays drums the entire time.
Fred Armisian's really funny.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He gets like all these famous drummers to come drum with him.
Yeah.
And just plays the drums and does different styles and tells like 2 jokes.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever seen. But he's still incredibly funny.
Jose, you have to check out that stand-up if you haven't seen that.
It's so good.
Now what?
Now we're getting through this. This is almost the end.
I know we're almost
self-care and improvement segment. It's time. It's time for the self-care and improvement segment.
So we want to try and do this every week.
Every week.
A self-care and improvement section where if there is a topic that you would like some advice on or like to talk about it, we can talk about it and we can give you some input on it. So we wanted to talk about how to be more likable, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
How to be more likable, especially like in a professional setting. How do you get along at work?
Yeah.
How are you well liked at work? Because both of us are absolutely well loved at work, like adored at work.
Mostly.
I'm
adored.
treated like a queen.
You're the queen
at my work.
There are certain departments
Yes.
that like me.
Everyone knows me. Everyone loves me. And I, for the most part, love everyone else. And it's genuine. But so how do...
Stupid people hate me.
Yeah, but that's a compliment.
It is.
When stupid people hate you.
When stupid people are the majority, it's hard.
But how do you get along with your coworkers? How do you get along with people? How are you nice to strangers? Things like that.
So a great piece of advice that I learned, and now I follow to a T, I learned this in sales, actually, is when someone's talking, the thing is when you're in a conversation, you're having a sales conversation, or just a conversation ever, and it's work-related, you always want to come off as smart. So you're thinking about, what's the next thing I'm going to say?
Right.
What's the next thing I'm going to say to make me look good in this meeting, to make me sound smart in the sales call, to get the point across? That is the absolute wrong mentality. You should not be thinking, what's the next thing I'm going to say? You should be listening to what the other person is saying and then respond with your emotions and your gut.
Right.
And let your brain do the talking.
Right.
Like, don't cue up the next thing you're going to say.
Yes.
Because that means you're not listening to what they're saying.
And this is something, how many of us, we go to the store, we're given our receipt, and they say, have a great day. And they say, thanks, you too. They give you a receipt, and they say, I hope you have a nice night, thanks, you too. But sometimes
when they give you your food at the McDonald's and say, oh, enjoy your meal, thanks, you too.
Right, that's the example. You have these
You're distracted.
standard canned phrases,
Yes.
and it's exactly what you said. You're thinking about how you're going to respond, and you're not listening to the other person. And that's such a huge problem that a lot of people have.
Well, I think both you and I do this.
Right.
Like, we intently listen to each other and respond to what each other says, rather than, I got a joke I got to tell based on something Keitel said. It's like, that's not how we operate.
Right, no, that's not. And that isn't the foundation for a good conversation with someone. Pyle says, bold of you to assume this audience has jobs. This isn't more so about, like, yes, this is in a professional setting, how you can be more liked at work, but just basic manners with interacting in people in general. Duffman says, how to be more likable, be taller and attractive, it genuinely works. Yes, okay, here's the thing about that. You don't have to be attractive to have positive attention. You just don't. You just don't.
Want
you have
to
be.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a while.
Let's do it. You know who Conor McGregor is? The MMA guy, the Irish.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
McGregor.
I think
something.
If you put him in a baggy shirts and shorts, he'd be probably one of the ugliest people on the planet.
I wish I could pull up a photo of him.
But when you look at him, he's not tall.
Right.
He's not incredibly chiseled and handsome, but he wears form-fitting suits. His beard is trimmed. His hair is always cut.
Now we have to look up a photo of Conor McGregor, because it's going to be difficult to judge based on this. Duncan says, love you, bye, to the till operator. That one's cute, though, Duncan. If you're going to use that as an example, that one's actually kind of cute. I know there's this thing, and it happens a lot so with men, because there's this joke online about women don't like short men or men under 6 feet. That's a meme. It might be true to some people. I can't imagine anyone of value anyone worth your time would not honestly believe that, and that's just the truth. If you find someone who says that, they are not a valuable person, they're not worth your time, and I would consider that right away having dodged a bullet. So don't ever think that is a legitimate thing. No, to me that is just a bullet dodged. Like, if I was a man, if I was a 6'4" man, and a woman said that she only wanted to date me if I was tall, okay, you can show them that, I guess.
Takes forever.
This is the guy that he's talking about.
Just look at the suit, look at the presentation. But like, imagine this guy in a baggy shirt and shorts, and it's a totally different ensemble.
Look at the thing. Like, he's cleaned up, he's dressed well.
Yes. And
suddenly he's
completely presentable.
Right, completely presentable, and that's what you have to go on. It has nothing to do with height. If I was a 6'4" tall man and a woman said, "Oh my gosh, I am so glad you're tall because I don't date short guys," I would say,
"You need to run from that woman."
You know what? I don't date judgmental women like you either. Bye.
Yeah.
And just go. Consider it a blessing. If anyone is trying to put you down for your height, consider it a blessing. You do not want to be with someone who is going to be critical about something you're born with. Thank God and run away. You dodged a bullet because guess what? You don't want to get involved with someone like that. You just do not. Don't even interface with someone like that. It's just not worth it.
If someone judges you because of your height or your skin color, your teeth, your face, that is not the kind of person you want to impress or be with.
No.
Now, if they judge you because you've walked out of your house and your buttons aren't even lined up on your shirt, and your hair is a mess.
Can we talk about deodorant, please, people?
Tell me about it.
Deodorant is a thing that everyone should be using. You don't even have to use an aluminum deodorant. Use a crystal deodorant stick. That's what we use.
And if you get pit stains, wear an undershirt.
Right, that's another thing.
There's lots of things you can do.
Yes.
In fact, there's almost nothing you can't do today.
No, you can always. And look, I'm serious. I love to help people. I would love for my job to be giving people emotional, physical makeovers and making them the best person they want to be. I would love that. I've tried to do it in the past, but this is going to hurt people's feelings. But I say the first thing you have to do is you have to get in shape. You do. You have to get in shape. We cannot move forward from that. You can do whatever. You have to care about your body. So that is the one thing that people I've worked with just can't get past.
Yeah.
They just can't get past it. Like, if you are not willing to put the effort into getting into shape, then I can't help you more so than that. Because
to defend and to clarify your statement, you're not saying go out and shed 100 pounds and get to like your size. You're saying it's just a matter of getting physically active because that will elevate your mentality and your awareness of yourself.
It's all about your mood, and exercise has such a powerful effect on the hormones in your body that make you happy. And you just feel better, but you look better too. It's not going to be just good for your physique, but also your skin tone. You're going to radiate, and you're going to have a lot of what's it called when your blood goes through all your body? Circulation.
You'll play games better. All the pro esports guys and gals have to exercise because you actually have better circulation, like you said, and you get better performance.
Yeah. So we have to get past this issue. It's nothing about height, anything like that, but the getting in shape thing. That is pretty much, you have to do that for yourself, just because it's a thing that someone will value, and you want someone else who cares about their own health as well.
It's funny because we've watched Queer Eye. And when you look at the Fab Five when they go to either a house or a person and make over that individual, like there is the diet, there is the health and exercise, there is the apparel.
There's so many lifestyles.
Just the general personality. Like this is how you as a person can be more presentable by how you act, how you carry yourself, how you think about things. There's so many things you can do. And it's nothing is impossible. Because you've seen what they can do to people.
Right, exactly.
And they go out and find like
it just has
the
to
worst
be
of the worst.
Your personal will.
Yes,
your
it
personal
really is.
Commitment. So I'm going to read some of the comments.
Read them.
Andrea says, never underestimate a well-fitted suit. Yes. Which is not always accessible to everyone, so I recommend, like, this dress, for example, is resale. This is a pre-used dress. I mean, you can buy pre-owned clothing. In fact, I exclusively only buy pre-owned clothing now and have for months just because of how over-polluted the clothing industry is.
Would it be more expensive to buy a resale suit and then have it tailored to your size?
No, that would be a very affordable thing to do. Go buy a resale suit, go buy a secondhand suit, take it to your local tailor, and get it fitted to you.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
I want to do that.
That's a perfect idea.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
I'll wear it on stream.
Yeah. How about we do that?
Let's go find me a suit.
We're going to go get him a suit, and we're going to tailor it to him. And then we're going to chalk up how much it was and how much money you saved and stuff like that. That'll be a good thing. Let's see. Duncan says, Conor also has a pastime of beating up old men in pubs. Conor McGregor.
I'm not complimenting his personality. I know nothing about him. I just know that I've seen him in the fight, and I've seen him on the street, and it's just 180.
So it was a comment about his personality.
It's how he looks.
About how he looks.
Yes, how he dresses.
But now that makes him a really ugly person.
That does make him a very ugly person.
Now it's just like, you can't fix that.
Irredeemable.
You cannot fix your ugly heart. You can if you are repentant about it, but I don't know if Conor is. Duffman says halo effect is a real thing in the corporate world. I don't know what halo effect is.
I've
is that
heard
just
of it,
like
but I don't
acting
know what
like
that
an
is.
angel?
Hold on, I'm gonna look at it.
Like
I'm gonna look it up.
acting like an angel. Rio says consider a bullet dodged. A woman that judges you based on your height isn't worth it. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly it. You don't want someone like that in the first place who is judging you on your height. Jose Rodriguez says a lot of those guys have had many facial fractures and nose breaks. Again with martial MMA stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their faces get progressively more messed up over time.
Yeah.
Halo effect, sometimes called the halo error, is the tendency for positive impressions of a person, company, brand, or product in one area to positively influence one's opinions or feelings in other areas. So, well-dressed, probably a good person, probably funny, probably donates to charity.
Right.
I'm making assumptions here.
Right.
That's the halo effect.
Yeah. I mean, it helps. It helps
It's a type
at
of
work.
cognitive
It will
bias.
get you farther.
Yep.
Let's see. Duffman says many studies there is a good business indicator article about increased earning and easier upward mobility being tied to attractiveness. But attractiveness is such an objective thing.
Subjective.
Yes.
Thank goodness it's not objective.
It's such a subjective thing. Oxyman said, isn't it just that women tend to prefer any extra height, ideally half a head taller? I don't think so. I mean, how much taller are you than me?
I'm 5'11".
Can we like stand right here and measure?
If we're gonna get cut off because of the...
Oh yeah. Well, let's scoot this back a little. Let's measure us so we can see. Back to back.
Back to back.
It's
gonna cut off our heads.
No, it won't.
Yeah. Look, it's already cut off your head.
It is cut off.
Yeah. So this doesn't work.
Okay.
But you could do like a nose line. I mean, look at my nose line to your nose line.
We'll look like. Okay, so there.
Yeah.
And that's not a head taller. But again, your height never came into it.
No.
We never even discussed your height. There wasn't anything. If you were the same height as me, I wouldn't have like tossed you to the clowns.
Isn't Tom Cruise like 5'8"?
I think so.
I mean, he was married to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Let's not act like...
Yeah, so it's not your height, guys. It is your personality, for sure.
5'7".
Yeah.
5'7".
That's like my height.
Yeah.
So, that's what you want to do.
He jumped out of a plane 100 times.
Yeah.
That's why he's attractive.
Yeah, because he's a brave man. But yep, that's it. So we want to do a lifestyle chat at the end of every stream. So if you have any topics you want to go over in the future, let us know. We
still have 2 more topics.
What's that?
WeChat, not 10 cent ban per 45-day review.
Oh, I guess we can kind of talk about that. Cause
we hinted at it earlier.
So there is talks that WeChat is now going to be, which is they own TikTok.
Yeah, it's like the premier chat application in China.
Well, So Tencent owns the Epic Game Store.
Well, they don't own it.
Well,
they're invested in it.
Okay, they have a high
I think it's
investment.
40%, yeah.
I think I was 40% in Fortnite, but like 100% of Epic. I'll have to check. I'm not sure. But there's talks about WeChat is now going to be prevented having earnings. So we have no idea where that's going to go.
Look, the hard truth here is that the Communist Chinese Party has an ability to track, spy, and manipulate information in an alarming ability.
Yes.
And this is not a partisan thing. Like, we need to be very careful as a country to what technology we allow in. In fact, BBC and PBS did a great report that I saw when we were on vacation all about the Communist China Party. And basically in like 2007, 2008, they stole so much of our software and technology from a copyright perspective. They took it and brought it back
to their engineers. They reverse engineered a whole bunch of our stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's all better. So all of their tech, their facial recognition, their tracking and monitoring systems, it's way better than it is in the States. They've put all their resources into it. So they can literally track your face as you're walking on the street. And if you jaywalk, they basically give you a credit or a debt against you. And your face is put up on a billboard, and then you're labeled a jaywalker.
It's like the first episode of Black Mirror season 3.
It's exactly like Nosedive, that episode.
Yeah,
and
season 2.
It's scary. So when you allow TikTok, WeChat, any kind of Tencent games into your computer, you're almost opening a door for them to start collecting and using that kind of data against you. Whether you're in America, Europe, doesn't matter. The thing is, China is very interested in expanding out beyond their borders. They want to control and run the planet. Mm-hmm. So using these technologies is basically just giving them exactly what they want. That's why I don't use them. But I don't think the ban is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, and we need to be careful. And we need to be able to say, if you're going to create something, we need assurances on our side that it's not going to be used against us.
Right.
Because we don't do that to anyone else.
Right.
Like, no one else on the planet, except for potentially Russia, is doing that.
Right.
And no one uses, Russian
A lot
phones.
of other countries are getting on board, though.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that we are discussing and it is happening.
Didn't even talk about the slavery that's happening over there right now, but it's horrible. There's a lot of atrocious things happening there, and we can't continue to support them.
Right.
Even though we're incredibly dependent on them.
Right. Well, if you look at manufacturing, up until when, I don't know, it was sometime after the 60s, everything was made in America. You had Frigidaire appliances that still last to this day, and they're just worlds better. American manufacturing should have always stayed in this country. The clothing was manufactured here. Everything was made in America. And when we started this huge, just exporting of labor, that's when quality starts to go down.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. So why can't we get a political platform of just bring back American manufacturing, keep things in this country?
It's funny because you don't even really hear about made in America being good anymore. It's just not done. You still hear about German engineering.
Right.
The electric razor I use is German engineering. It's the most comprehensive piece of machinery I've ever held in my hand.
Yeah.
But made in America is kind of just something that fell to the wayside.
I know.
It's sad.
So I try and do what I can to support American-made brands. I will absolutely do my research about that, but we as a whole need to keep... And I know there might not be some Americans watching. We were talking about this from an American perspective. Obviously, you as a citizen of your own country would want to see your own country manufacturing your products.
Well,
so this is equivalent to that.
This is a uniquely American problem because I think we're more dependent on China than most other countries.
Right, and not just China. A lot of clothing is from Bangladesh,
Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just
and it's
terrible for them too.
Right.
That's
this
the thing.
It's not about American patriotism.
Yes.
It's we want to keep things in America. This is because it is terrible to ever what we're doing, what these companies are doing, outsourcing labor to someone
children
working,
and slaves.
Right. $2 a week for a piece of clothing you're going to turn around and sell for $300. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
It's absolutely terrible because they don't want to pay people fair wages over here and then they will take advantage of exploitative labor, which is why the clothing industry is bad and I am buying secondhand. So let me read some of the comments. Jose Rodriguez says, I also think Tencent is trying to buy DE Warframe developers.
Yes, that's true.
Well, I know they have stock in Discord and Reddit. They have a lot of investments, Tencent. Bendita says, it's why I refuse to use Epic Games Launcher other than it's a trash launcher.
Yeah, I don't use Epic.
Yeah. No, don't. If you have Epic, probably delete it on your computer. Duncan says their new extradition law seems to cover the whole world. Their extradition law is terrifying.
It does. In fact, this is illegal.
Yes.
We can go to jail if we ever go to China because of this.
Or if we ever go into a country where they have extradition laws.
Yes, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Or I am super screwed for even acknowledging that they did this and they have slaves.
I mean, 90% of America would be.
Yeah.
It would literally be like Fallout.
Me and John Oliver can share a cell.
It would be like Fallout.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
This is exactly the premise of Fallout.
It really is.
Let's see. John Hunter says England started trying facial recognition.
It's frightening stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we are such by the book, law-abiding citizens that the only thing you could get us on would be defamation, what we're doing right now, I guess, of Bobby Kotick.
Here's the thing.
He would go after us.
There comes a point. We are law-abiding citizens. We literally follow every rule to the T. The most law I've broken is like rolling through a stop sign.
Right.
But when you allow pervasive technology to control and run your society, you're also allowing these most supremely technical people to control it.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen deepfakes. Mm-hmm. We've seen what people can do with technology when it's not used appropriately.
Very scary.
We should not technology should always be an extension or a tool.
Right.
It should never be the crutch that we lean on. Not
unless we're the robots in Terminator.
If it's gotten to that point, we're already dead.
Yeah, we are. Optimus says, ironically, China is the ultimate example of 100% capitalism, including the government. The whole country is run like a business.
It is.
They can plan for decades in the future, unlike our democratic governments. Yeah.
It's so wild that they call themselves communists. Because they're not.
No.
It's like Russia is not a communist country either.
Right.
They're the opposite of it. Because you would have... If it was a true communism, there'd be not a single ounce of wealth. And we know that's not true.
Yeah.
China is the wealthiest country in the world.
Yeah.
From a GDP perspective.
Right.
So, this is stupid.
Optimus says Australia is fully dependent. Most of our minerals go to China.
Yes, and that's the scary thing. So it's Australia, and that in this special that was put out by the BBC, I think it was Peru, they ended up building a port, and China was like, we'll build you this port for free.
Yeah.
You can use it, but we want to use it too. And then they never let Peru use it, and now they're like, we have to get them out of here. How do we get them out of here? And they can't. They legally can't. So now they're on their soil and infiltrating their country.
Yeah.
And there's facial recognition things all around that port. It's bad.
This is scary.
It is.
Scary.
All right, so the last topic. Lady J.
Rio just said Bobby is watching us.
Good.
If Bobby Kotick is watching us.
What? You have nothing better to do on a Friday night? Bobby Kotick? Your billions?
No, because he's so rich that he just wants to see how...
I want to see how the poor people live.
He wants to see how the proletariat class lives.
Yeah.
He wants to see what we're doing, what we're up to. What do we live like? What's next on the list? The last thing
Lady
on
J.
the list. Lady J, okay. Oh yeah, Lady J. Ce film est français et je regarde aujourd'hui.
Oui.
C'est un film très bien et très amusant. Très joli.
Merci.
It's a French film. I loved it. Lady J on Netflix. It was about this marquise. She's a widow. This man wrongs her. He jilts her. He pretends to love her. He woos her. He sleeps with her. And he says, I am going to go sleep with someone else. And she says, you know what? No, aujourd'hui. Not today. And so she gets her revenge on him. And it's awesome. It's a fun film. Watch it. That's my review.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lady J.
I've been watching The Last Dance still. Fantastic.
Which is the NBA documentary about?
About the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman in the 98.
We started watching New York versus the Mafia.
That is a good documentary.
Holy cow. Netflix documentary, New York versus the Mafia. The first 30 seconds of it, you get to hear an actual clip.
And you're like, is this The Sopranos?
It sounds like The Sopranos.
Who's wise guys? They're everywhere.
Yeah, the wise guys. So that's
like cockroaches.
Really good.
They're just everywhere.
Yeah. There's something alluring about the Mafia.
There really is.
I don't know what it is. It's something about the way they talk, their hierarchy system. You have the boss, the underboss, the captain, the soldiers. There's something very...
I think it's because it's so unbelievable that it actually exists.
Right.
Yet it does.
And this documentary is great because they will interview former mobsters and also the FBI agents who are chasing after them. There's something really always eternally fascinating ever since the mob came on the scene in like the 20s in America.
Yeah, there's just
something, the way they talk.
It's like a mythology kind of thing.
It's part of Americana history.
It really is.
It's like the Cowboys.
Yep.
Cowboys are great.
The Italians, they show up.
They're not great. I mean,
they make
they're
everything better. What can we say?
Terrible people.
They're fantastic people.
Really.
Look at this wise guy over here. Got a real paisan on this stream, huh?
Really terrible, scary people.
They're not scary. They come to your house and make you some pasta fajoule. You get some.
Yeah, but then they're going to slip a $20 bill in my pocket and say,
"Hey, you
I
just
need
keep
a
this.
favor." Yeah.
You keep this today, huh? I'll call you later.
Actually, you know what? One afternoon, I was cleaning the front of my house, and our neighbor, who was probably in the mob, he comes over and he hands me this steel brush, and he says, "Try using this to clean your stones." And I said, "Oh, okay, thank you." He's like, "I don't need this back. You can keep that." And I was so afraid that he was going to come back and ask me for a favor.
Didn't he have a Russian bride?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she loved my puppy. His Russian bride loved my puppy, so I was somewhat friends with her. But they moved out one night. They just
vanished.
Vanished. I was so thankful, though. He never came and asked for a favor. I was so scared. He wanted something in return.
Hey, you remember that brush I gave you, right? It'd be real great if you pay me back the kindness by going out and whacking Jimmy the Weasel, huh?
I was afraid.
Just go hit him with your car, rough him up a bit, huh? Just roll him over with your tires, make him nice and flat.
He was going to come ask for that favor back.
We gotta go. We gotta go silence Vinny the Mouse.
Also, before anyone gets offended, he's literally Italian.
I can do this.
We have to say that.
I'm allowed to do this. This is the one thing I'm allowed to do.
Why is that? That being part of something automatically gives you a pass.
I don't know.
That's not going to happen much longer.
I think that's the only thing that's allowed to happen.
No.
That's the thing, is like, you are allowed to do...
I don't think that's going to happen.
Asian things.
Am I?
I'm allowed to do...
Here's the thing.
White things.
Here's the thing that's messed up. So my mom is Thai. And my dad is Caucasian. My dad's parents were French. So European and Thai. Eurasian, right? So now, am I allowed to do anything Asian?
Yes.
That's really not right, though.
But you know why?
But they will say I'm allowed to do anything.
It's actually, you're not allowed to, but there's a loophole.
What's the loophole?
So you are only allowed to do Thai things. But the loophole is, no one's actually allowed to ask what your ethnicity is.
Yes, that's the perfect loophole.
So,
our
viewers now know that you're Thai.
Right.
So if they caught you wearing a kimono, they'd be like, that's appropriation.
Right.
But if you're out on the street wearing a kimono and no one sees it, loophole achieved.
That's true. I am allowed to do that.
It's like, I can do the Italian thing, but if I was out in the street, I could do the Irish thing?
Yeah, they wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
But now they know.
I can do the German thing.
So now they're going to be very concerned when we do other things.
Yeah, they're going to be like, those guys are up to no good. Couple of paisans up in here.
Say goodnight here.
Good night here.
Jose Rodriguez is leaving, and we should probably head off.
Yeah, we should.
It's pretty late.
It's late.
This was a fun stream, though, guys. Thanks for joining, and I will post the Discord link in the chat right after this. I'll go upstairs and post that for, I don't know, Not Green might still not be here, but for anyone that wants to join and isn't already there, come say hi. And yeah, we will do this every Friday. Hopefully next week we're not going to have whatever issue it was setting up.
Get the chat on the screen.
Fix it. Yeah, I know. I can't get the chat on the screen.
We'll test it.
Thanks, guys. Have fun. Have a good night. And have a good weekend. Stay
Au
safe.
revoir.
Bye. And think of topics throughout the week that you want to talk about, and we will discuss it. Okay, Not Green is there. Okay. Bye, Rio Duffman, Not Green, John Hunter, Signa, Pyle, Andred, Duncan, John Hunter, Jose. Anyone else who's out there that we missed? Bye. Mucho, mucho, mucho amor. What a great guy.
What a great guy. That'd have been the second time that thing hit the floor today.
I caught it, though.
Because I didn't throw it at you.